Once upon a time, in the captivating island of Lombok, lived a princess who was the epitome of grace and beauty. Her name was Putri Mandalika, and her charm was such that the moon blushed and the stars dimmed in her presence. Yet, her heart was heavy, for her breathtaking beauty was a double-edged sword, cutting through the peace of her homeland. Princes from kingdoms far and wide, from every corner of the archipelago, sailed across treacherous waters and traversed daunting mountains, all to seek her hand in marriage. They were fierce, noble, and every bit as competitive as the roaring seas. They arrived with entourages that filled the royal palace, their eyes filled with a fire that could either warm a heart or scorch the earth. The royal halls buzzed with tension. The princes couldn't agree on anything, except that each believed himself to be the most deserving of Putri Mandalika. Unable to find a peaceful resolution, the king, Putri Mandalika's father, made a grave proclamation. "My noble guests, if it's a contest you seek, then it's a contest you shall have. A duel shall determine who is worthy of my daughter's hand." The air thickened with anticipation, but Putri Mandalika felt as if a storm cloud had settled over her soul. As the princes prepared for battle, sharpening their swords and donning their armors, she sought the counsel of her wise old friend, Nenek Luhu. "Nenek Luhu, must it come to this? Must blood be spilled in my name?" Putri Mandalika's voice quivered like the surface of a still pond after a pebble's toss. "My child," Nenek Luhu sighed, "sometimes our blessings are also our burdens. But remember, you are more than just a prize to be won. You have a voice, use it." Armed with these words, Putri Mandalika stood overlooking the arena where the princes were ready to engage in a battle that would stain the earth red. Her father gave her one last chance to speak before the duel commenced. "Esteemed princes," Putri Mandalika's voice carried across the field, "I find myself at a crossroads where each path leads to ruin. If I let you fight, our land will drown in sorrow and blood. I cannot be the cause of such strife. Therefore, I choose another way." With an air of ethereal calm, Putri Mandalika turned away from the gasping crowd and walked, her feet grazing the earth like a soft-spoken secret. She headed toward the sea, toward the hills that towered above the waves at Seeger Beach. The princes, startled and touched by her words, abandoned their fighting stances. Realization washed over them like a tide, and they raced after her, their armored feet pounding the earth, but it was too late. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden glow on the water, Putri Mandalika reached the cliff overlooking the eternal expanse of the sea. She looked back one last time, her eyes meeting those of her desperate father and the guilt-ridden princes. Then, with a grace that defied the tragedy of the moment, she leapt. As she plunged into the depths, the sea itself seemed to rise to embrace her. The crowd reached the cliff just in time to see a spectacle that defied belief. The waters shimmered and churned, and where Putri Mandalika had vanished, there emerged countless Nile sea worms, each glowing with an ethereal light. The people were awestruck. The Nile sea worms were considered sacred, and here they were, swarming the waters as if to pay homage to the princess's sacrifice. The princes returned to their lands, their heads bowed in shame and hearts filled with a newfound wisdom. They realized that some prizes, no matter how enchanting, are not worth the price of war and bloodshed. As for the people of Lombok, they continued to honor Putri Mandalika year after year during the festival of Nile, where they gathered to catch the sacred sea worms. And whenever they look out into the sea, they remember their princess who was both their greatest treasure and their most profound lesson. The sea worms are a living testament to her sacrifice, a reminder that the bravest act is sometimes to forsake what you love for the greater good. And that, my dear, is the end of our tale. Remember, bravery doesn't always come from wielding a sword, Sometimes it comes from laying it down for the greater good.